This is Entrepreneurs Get Visible, the podcast for people who want more impact, influence, and income. I'm Anna Parker-Naples, and I'll be sharing with you proven methods from leading entrepreneurs that help you get visible as an authority in your field. Because anything's possible when you get visible. So hello, I have today with me, I have Chris and Jude Wharton, who are founders of Ready Steady websites. And today we're doing a deep dive into exactly why you need to get your website right. So hello to Chris and Jude. Nice to have you on the show today.
Hello.
Hi there, good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and what you offer people and why this is a little bit different to everything else out there.
Okay. Do you want to go?
You can go.
I'll go. Okay. So we started Ready Steady websites because we've been running a web design company for coming up to 10 years now. And we'd always been doing the more traditional website design and builds from scratch, bespoke websites for people. But the web industry has been changing and there have been fewer people needing or wanting to pay the money to have the bespoke websites because there are so many different services or ways of doing it yourself out there. But equally, we were coming across people who wanted a website, didn't feel they had the skills or the time to be doing it themselves, or they had tried to do it themselves through one of the well-known website sort of template providers out there, or gone to Theme Forest and bought a theme, but hadn't created a site that was really professional enough for what they wanted, or didn't quite have the functionality that they wanted. And so Chris and I sat down and we thought about all the entrepreneurs and small business owners we've been working with over the last few years, thought about all the common things that they were asking for in their websites, and realised that we could sort of bring the do-it-yourself element and our agency background together and create a service where they could buy a template off the shelf so that it meant it was at a cheaper price point, but that the template had been designed beautifully. The functionality was all there because Chris does properly develop websites. He can code them from scratch. And so that they were going to work really nicely. But we put in all the common elements to our templates that people had been asking for from their websites over the last couple of years. But we didn't want to leave people to then take our template and do it completely by themselves, because people freak out at that quite often. They just feel like they just won't know where to start. And so we sort of married the two services together, really. So we will set up the template for people so that it's got their branding and their fonts, their colours and their logo all on there ready for them. So it looks like them when they get it on our test domain for them to put their content and their images into. And we also have a membership site, which you know, because obviously you've used it.
I created the podcastmembership.com on one of Chris and Jude's ready-made templates for memberships because we were time poor and had deadlines looming and I needed something that was going to be quick and easy. And so when I heard about your service, it just kind of made sense. It was a good fit for my needs. Let's go back a little bit though. So Chris, I'm curious as to why you think, what is it that is important about having a great website? Why does this matter to people?
Well, it's really a reflection of them, but online. So, and this is the same for any kind of touch point across social media, whether you're at an event, on your podcast. You want to have a consistent feel from every aspect. And the website is very important in terms of signposting, taking payments, showing your brand online, really getting that kind of brand recognition out there. And a website can really be leveraged to be your kind of main income machine, really. That's why it's so important, especially with something like a passive income, where you can run a membership site, but also you can take one-off payments through websites. You can sell physical products. You can sell digital products. A website is very important for today's modern online business.
I think as well that people are very quick to make decisions these days as well. And so the importance of having a really good looking and functioning nicely website is even more important now. I think a few years ago, you could get away with having a website and as long as it was there and looked okay, people would sort of muddle around and try and find what they wanted on it. But I think if people go into a website now, they expect it to look good straight away. They expect it to be really clear where they need to click to find what they're looking for. And if your website isn't clear and it isn't really easy to navigate around, I think people just jump straight away off to another site of your competitor that looks better and does what they want it to more quickly. Mm. So I think that's another reason why it's so important for it to look spot on these days.
So what do you see people doing that are classic mistakes with their websites?
I think it's a classic kind of, I can do this myself. I'll just get a $50 theme from somewhere. I'll do something, I'll muddle it together, I'll put 100 plugins in there, and then they've done something that they think looks good. But actually, when you load it up on a mobile, or the fonts are out of place, the images are all weird, you can't read them. And although they might think that they've done a good job, when someone's looking at it from a kind of a customer perspective, it does look amateur. And then as soon as it doesn't look professional, it is a bad reflection on you and your brand, and will actually be a negative experience for kind of the buying journey. It will turn people off if they feel that they've come to a site that hasn't had any kind of investment in it.
I think it is that investment in your own reputation and your own credibility. And I'm coming at this. I started when I first had a website about 10 years ago. I had no idea. So I did go down the line of, I think I used Weebly or Wix or something. And because it was drag and drop and I knew I should be able to build it myself. But the functionality of that website was actually then pretty limited, and it just didn't look as amazing as it could have done. And so I got to that point where I wasn't proud to share that website link because, it's not current, it doesn't look right, I'm not happy with it, it doesn't work. And that's a bit of a shame for business owners, isn't it, if you're not proud of your website?
Definitely. And we had a meeting earlier this week with someone, and she's absolutely at that point at the moment. Like, she did her website a couple of years ago, and she is in a design related job as well. So she feels that her website should look beautifully designed, and she knows it's not, and she knows she's got to get on it and do something about it, and just hasn't quite yet. And yeah, she was saying exactly the same thing to us. She's trying to launch some new packages at the moment and just feels like she doesn't want to put them on her current website because it's just not reflecting her in the best way that it should.
And so that then stops referrals because you're not getting people into your lead magnets, your funnels, or whatever else is starting on your website. And also it's that positioning piece. If I know myself, if I arrive at a website that is clunky or looks like someone's not really stopped and thought about, are the fonts working together? Has it got a cohesive feel? You don't stay. You don't stop around, do you?
No. And especially with how they work on mobile, like Chris said, like about 50% of browsing is done on a mobile device these days. And so it is so important that people consider that. And so few people do. The amount of times that I've seen something on social media, I think, oh, fantastic, I'm going to go and check them out and look into them a little bit more. Obviously, the first thing I do is I go to the website link and I'm scrolling through their website. And as soon as I start seeing headings that are going off the right-hand side of the screen, or there's only half an image there, or the worst thing is when a pop-up comes up on mobile, and because it's not right for mobile, the cross to get out of the pop-up is off the screen, and you just cannot get away from that, and you're just stuck there then, and that's it, I'm done, I'm off the website. And that's just the lasting image of how they've put their business across to me. So it's so important to get it right.
So one of the reasons that I decided that I would use a membership template was obviously I was building a membership and I wanted it to have certain functionality that I didn't want to have to go away and build. And I was coming at it where I'd previously had a WordPress website, WordPress.org website that I'd used Thrive themes with. But because I hadn't got the structure for what was important for my membership and things like having the right menus in the right places, and that was all fiddly, and that's not my forte. That's not something I want to invest my time, effort and energy into. That was one of the reasons that I decided for my membership. That I didn't even know that it was possible to have this. And I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you both on the show, was to let people know that this doesn't have to be a headache. You don't have to spend tens of thousands of pounds to get an all-singing website. And equally, you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours making it yourself. There is this kind of hybrid, which is what you're offering. Talk about who exactly is coming on and buying from you and what kind of businesses they have. Because I know you have some quite bespoke templates ready to go.
Yeah, so the idea of when Ready Steady Website was born as an idea, we'd been working almost predominantly with entrepreneurs for the last 2 years. Mainly female entrepreneurs, which I'm not sure quite how that happened, but it would just end up that way. And we ended up doing the same kind of thing over and over again. So what we ended up doing is researching out of that kind of group of entrepreneurs, researching their individual niches. So we have a lot of online coaches on board and entrepreneurs. So we had an online coach template, an entrepreneur template. We've got a speaker bureau who we work with, and they refer quite a lot of people to us. So we did a speaker template, a wellness one, a therapist one, a fitness one, and a photographer one. And we're working on a few more at the moment. So each template is researched and designed as if it was for a final client. So you still get kind of the custom amount of design work that's gone into it and development work, like we would do if we were charging someone 5, 6, 7 grand for a website, which is what we do as kind of our main sort of job with Second Floor. It's our kind of custom work. So that's kind of how we developed the idea. So we have basically got a spread of, it's all online entrepreneurs, mainly solopreneurs, I'd say.
Yeah.
A high percentage of that are coaches, and then it's kind of a smattering of the other kind of.
Yeah, I think we started very much predominantly with coaches. They were the first sort of group of people that were coming on, whether they were business coaches or sort of more well-being coaches, but they fitted into the same kind of needs from the website point of view. And then we have branched out a little bit. We've got a fitness template, and it's really interesting to see what people have done with that one, because it works for anyone in the fitness industry, really, because it's got the template for fitness classes or for one-to-one personal training. But people have taken that and done quite a lot of different stuff with it. We've got a swim school who's used that one. But equally, we've got somebody who's a professional golf coach.
Yeah.
He's a golf pro and he does golf coaching. And so he's going to be using the template as well. So it's really nice to see how like the template, although it's designed for the niche, can be adapted for mini niches within the niche, if you see what I mean. So yeah, we've got quite a broad range of people. We've actually got a few actors as well who have, they're using, one of them's using the speaker template and the other one's using the wellness template. But yeah, so we sort of branched out into areas where we haven't actually got a specific template for, but our templates are working for them anyway. And we're also developing a plugin at the moment where once you've bought our template, you will actually be able to use pages from the other templates as well if they fit what you need. So you can have a bit of a mix and match, which is working quite nicely, really.
So for me, one of the things that I really liked when I came over to look at what was there in the template was that there was an area that you'd almost prompted me. This is for your book. Your book can go here. This is for your one-to-one work. I didn't have to stop and think, what do I actually need on my website? Because I was almost just prompted to just copy and paste in the information, get the right images in there. And it was so simple that I just say to you, these are the fonts I use. These are the colours. This is an image that I want on it. And then you did that. And I think that was done within 48 hours. And it meant that we could then build the website. Of course, there's still customization we needed to do to get the right imagery, get the right videos, get my downloads onto the website. But having built a website from scratch just 3 years ago for a membership, and again, I had to go back and look at that membership because that business closed. I had to go back and look at it just a couple of weeks ago. And at the time, I was quite proud of it because I'd made it myself. I'd just spent hours doing it. But I have no idea about websites. And what I felt proud of back then, I looked at that now and thought that's so amateurish compared with the level of work that I'm displaying on my current website. And people do notice, don't they? They notice when you've got something a bit rubbishy.
Yeah, and I think it's very obvious when it's do it yourself by someone who doesn't have that design and web background. And it can look a bit like it's a bit of a hobby business, which I think can be really unfortunate for people who are putting so much effort into their business and they probably are truly professional at what they do, but what they do isn't web design. So they shouldn't really be spending their time trying to do that and should be accepting that there are some areas of business it really worth investing in. And I think if you get it right first time and you invest in the right way of creating your website or your membership site, then it will last you and you won't find yourself having to invest in it again. We've had so many people come to Ready Steady websites who have said to us, we created a website a year ago or 18 months ago with this provider and it's now not doing what we need, or it now doesn't look as good as we want it to. And therefore they're sort of just starting again. And it feels so like, oh, if only you'd chosen the right thing first off, then you wouldn't be having to go through the whole process.
But it's knowledge, isn't it? People don't know. If you're not in the website building space, you don't know. So you go with something that looks easy. I've done this myself in the past, and yet it becomes a bit of a headache. Conversely, I've seen people invest thousands and thousands and thousands, and then there's a developer who has made something way too complex for the user of the website, and they feel completely and utterly disempowered from making any amendments or changes. I've even known of people who say, I want to just change a little bit of wording, but I'm going to have to pay the developer in order to change that for me. And I think that's a whole other thing. I think that's a bit naughty. And I think in a way, having a website where you are empowered to make those changes because they are easy and they're intuitive is really important because websites should be fluid. They're not static. I was actually having a conversation with a client just this morning. He was saying, I'm waiting for that point when my website is perfect and finished. And that's not really the way we should think about our websites, is it?
No, I mean, I always say iteration is key with your website. You should always be looking to adjust it, whether that's message, whether that's imagery, whether that's brand. It's living and breathing thing, really, a website.
Why does it have to be that?
Because things are always changing. It's like your business. You have to pivot things in your business. Maybe your messaging's not right. Maybe you think, okay, well, that lead magnet's not working on that page, so I'll swap it for another one. You should always be assessing these things. And at least once a month, you should take a look at your website and think, right, what's working, what's not working? And you should listen to people who give you feedback as well. Maybe they've had an issue on a certain browser. Maybe they can't make it work on an iPad. And you should be listening to all these things as you go along and tweaking them and adjusting them.
And you want to be showcasing your work to the best of your ability as well. So if you should be trying to put new things on your portfolio of work or new testimonials on there regularly so that it's fresh. And if somebody's visited you before and they've thought, oh yeah, I might come back to them when I'm ready, come back in a month's time, they can see a new item of work on the portfolio or see they've got a couple of new testimonials. It's like, okay, this person really is working at the moment. They really know what they're doing and people are loving them. And your website is a sales page for you, essentially.
It's credibility.
It shows your credibility. And people aren't going to see that unless you are continuously working on it and updating it.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because people kind of have that fear of, well, I invested in it, it's done, that's done now. So now I can tell people about it. And again, it's the ease with which you can change things. Now, one of the things that I've liked with working with Ready Steady websites is that we wanted to customize some of our site behind the scenes. And because the website is then hosted on WordPress.org, not .com, .org. People do get muddled with these because that is how it's built. It's built on there. I can add in customizations and plugins. And there were a few times that we ran into some hitches. Now, if I'd been on my own doing this, or just me and my virtual assistant, we wouldn't have had anyone to turn to except Google. But actually, we were able to reach out to you and say, oh, something's not quite right. And that, as a business owner, has been invaluable, particularly when we were up against a deadline to get the launch out there. So tell people a little bit about how that works and the kind of problems people come to you with once they've bought one of your templates and they just need a little bit of help. Not because the template is wrong, just want to clear that up, but because there's something going on with the website and they need support.
Well, this is one of the things as well, which you don't often get elsewhere, is that we're there to help. We want to make the whole process painless. And that's not just at the beginning when we're onboarding someone, but it's the whole journey. Now, years' time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, because we know things are going to change. And with WordPress, it is fantastic in many different ways. You can add so much different functionality to what you can get from a lot of other platforms. But there will be niggles here and there. Some plugins won't work nicely with others. And that's what we're there for. We're there to help. So I've been using WordPress for about 12 years now. We used to have a WordPress theme business where we sold several thousand themes, and we're used to theme issues, plugin issues, code issues. And just yesterday, there's an error in quite a well-known plugin called Smush Pro. I was able to debug it and report it to their team and tell them what the problem was, and now they're working on that to fix it. So quite often in this kind of web space, you have people who are web designers in inverted commas, but they don't actually understand the code behind. So they're really good at using Divi, for example. But then as soon as something codey happens, they turn to Google as well. Whereas we've got experience to fix these things as well. So whenever there's a plugin conflict, we can normally work out what's wrong. And if there's a code issue, we can advise on things. And we can also advise on the best plugins to use because we've been using WordPress for so long. There are some really good plugins that you can use.
I think that expertise has really come across in any of our communications. There really haven't been many times that I've had to reach out and say, because and you immediately, no matter what we bring to you, you say, well, it's probably this, I'll have a look. You know what it is, you can assess that, and we're on to it. Whereas when you are building a website on your own, the fear factor of I've ruined it all and I can't get it back or I'm going to lose my work is kind of overwhelming, that it's almost paralysis for people, I think. So I think the support factor is brilliant that you're offering that as well.
And I think a lot of people do that panic thing, don't they? We do get it. Some of the support tickets we get are, I did this and now it's all gone wrong. And it is so simple. It is literally a matter of, it's all right. We'll just roll it back to what you had on there 2 hours ago or yesterday or whenever the last time was that they'd done something, and it's so easy to help them with it. And we know that's easy. But yeah, to the person creating their website who doesn't have that experience and just has that panic moment, to have us to come to and us just go, it's fine, it's sorted, is just, yeah, it helps so much.
Yeah.
So for someone then who's out there looking at their website and thinking, oh gosh, this isn't really working, what should they do? What are the best ways to fix the problem?
Well, we've got some freebies on our website which will probably help. So we've got a which website platform quiz which they could go through and assess kind of their needs, because the needs always change of a website. So if you're using Squarespace or Wix, a lot of people get unstuck after the 12 to 18 month mark and realise they can't get more functionality out of it. That can help people in deciding what to use. We've also got a couple of email challenges that could help people. One with getting a membership site right. Is that the right title, or is it the website?
Yeah, get your membership site so right, or get a website that works for you. So depending on whether you're working on your website or membership site, they're both 5-day email challenge courses that basically get people to either consider what they want from a website if they're starting from scratch. But if they have got a website already and they're not happy with it, they no need to make changes, but they don't really know whether they need to start again or whether what they've got could be improved. It just takes them through the process of considering their content, considering the design, the layout, considering like the structure of the site, and getting them to identify ways that they do feel they need to improve it. We also have a download as well, don't we, about 5 ways to improve your website conversions, which are just 5 really simple tips that people can use the download to go and look at their website and go, oh yeah, do you know what? I'm getting that wrong from a design perspective, or my call to actions, no, they're not that clear, and that kind of thing. So there are lots of things you can do in going and reviewing your website. And I think the best way to do it almost is to get someone who is your ideal customer to go and have a look at your website and tell you, is this appealing to them? Could they find their way around easily? What was it they were looking for and they couldn't find? Just getting other critical eyes on your site to have a look. And there will be times that it'll be an easy fix. There's just a couple of tweaks that need making and it could improve the website more. Or it may well be that people identify, do you know what? Yeah, this is so messed up. I need to start again.
And it's important though, isn't it? So my business has rapidly changed over the last year. And I think it's now been about 3 or 4 months since we updated it. And even in that short space of time, things have happened. I've won awards or I've been in the press. And if that's not reflected on my website, then I'm not giving my business all the credibility that I can. And so it's remembering whatever you're building out there on social media, your posts, your video content that you're doing, it has to be on your website too. That has to be there. People have to come understand what you're all about, and it has to be clean, simple and easy to understand and intuitively use as well. So thank you so much. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that any of those opt-ins that Jude and Chris have shared today, we're going to make sure they're in the show notes. And I'll be letting you know about how you can get a little discount if you did want to get one of their templates through Ready Steady website. That's not the right way. Ready Steady website. So thank you so much for coming on today, Chris and Jude. It was lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for listening to Entrepreneurs Get Visible. To get your free checklist on how to raise your profile and to find out about our community, go to annaparkernaples.co.uk/get visible.